Hello, this is Bill Ward, Director of Service for CVS Sound Vision, with today's technical tip. Today's topic will be replacing the trackball on the Hewlett-Packard 5500, which is the same procedure as that of the 4500, the 2000, and the Agilent 7500. They're all the same. You're going to need two tools today. I use a penny for releasing the two captive screws on the underside of the keyboard. It's a large flat blade screw, and a large screwdriver will work fine, but almost any coin works better because it is such a wide slot. And you would take off these two screws, they'll drop down out of your way, and that'll release the keyboard so we can get into the back of it in a minute. Second tool you'll need is a 1.5 millimeter Allen screw. When you pull the plastic cover, which holds the actual push buttons for this part of the keyboard, pull that off and you'll see the silicone membrane below it and the three 1.5 millimeter Allens that hold in the trackball. Trackball is mounted to a metal plate that's attached to the chassis. So when you take out these three screws, the trackball will visibly drop down to the inside of the machine a little bit, and you'll see that it's free of the bracket. Once it does that, you'll want to lift up the keyboard. You do that by pulling up on the front and then tilting it out from the top. So the keyboard doesn't fall over, get loose, or pull off any of the cabling. There's a retaining bar. Pull that out from the back, stick it into the grommeted hole on the retainer, and it'll hold that keyboard in a position where it's very easy to work on it. Once you do that, the trackball is already loose and will fall directly out of the back. It has a standard RJ11 type telephone connector, I believe it's called. This particular trackball is a little bit thinner than some of them you'll see. It's the new style. It has metal rollers rather than the foam rollers that tended to deteriorate. It has a different feel to it and a different look to it. To replace the trackball, simply pop the cable back in, make sure it's oriented up, put the three screws in. Three screws are at 1/3 of the clock on each one of these, and so I don't think you can even get the trackball in incorrectly on this one, but again, the cable points up. Put in the three 1.5 millimeter Allens to retain that. Tighten that back up nice and securely. The trackball will be back into place, oriented correctly. Once you've remounted that, you've effectively replaced the trackball already. Pull off the retaining bar, put it back into its place so it doesn't come loose. Drop the keyboard back down and reverse the process. Pushing the top of the keyboard in first, push down on the front, being careful not to pinch your hand, drops into place. Put back on the plastic cover which holds the actual push buttons, and then tighten up the captive screws that are back on the bottom left and right to retain that, and you've just replaced a trackball on an HP 5500. Congratulations. Come back soon for another technical tip.